Hello, everyone. Once again, we're still continuing with our Laws of Independence series. And today we want to look at a law that particularly does not pertain only to Uganda, but also to the neighbors of Uganda, given the fact that Uganda does not exist in isolation. This particular law is the Uganda Control of Alien Refugees Act, CAP 64. It was an act that came into force of law in the year 1960. And essentially, it was our first law to deal with refugees. In this act here, we had a definition of an alien, which was essentially anyone that was not a citizen of Uganda. And it had quite stringent parameters for the dealing with refugees within Uganda. One of these stringent restrictions was the fact that refugees were not allowed to walk around or roam about in Uganda without a permit. And it was a decision of only one person to decide whether or not you were supposed to get a permit, and you had no right of appealing as to why you were not given a refugee permit or status, if at all, which was quite stringent. And so it was only natural that with the evolving of laws to deal with refugees, this law here had to be repealed. And so in 2006, we have what we call the Refugees Act that was enacted to essentially repeal that law there and streamline a number of things to do with refugees. First of all, it made the movement of refugees easier because now, as long as you're given refugee status, you were able to have that permit and do whatever you'd like in that country there. It also established the board that was in charge of giving or granting that refugee status, which was essentially the Refugee Eligibility Committee, often known as REC. Essentially, REC worked as a community instead of a one kind of person, and the REC also had parameters under the same law under which it considered whether or not to grant refugee status. And these parameters were essentially a true reflection of the 1951 UN Convention on the Status of Human Rights. And so they were streamlined in an international sort of scope. So refugees have since enjoyed a lot of the rights encapsulated in this law, which makes Uganda one of the leading hubs of refugees all around the world. And we are proud of that as our heritage as Ugandans, being able to offer help to our neighbors as and when they need it. Thank you so much for listening. And should you have any need for legal information, such as what we have just talked about today, feel free to reach out to us. The link is in the description.